All right, another weekly episode of Squeaky Chair Radio. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we had a discussion about addiction. And thought it was pretty interesting, some of his points that he brought up, and some of the points that I had. So I decided that I would record them on exactly kind of what the discussion was about. First of all, I used to smoke, I used to drink, I used to do all sorts of stuff, all things that basically are considered addictions. And I always just thought I didn't have any control over it and all that other stuff. So I smoked for, man, I don't know, like 30 years or something like that. Maybe a little less than that, 26 or 27 or something like that. But I smoked for a long time. And same thing, I drank, when I was in high school, and it just got more and more. And then it was cool when you were turning 21 and 25 and 30 and whatever. But I never really liked any of it. I never enjoyed smoking. It wasn't like, oh wow, this is great, I can't wait to go do this. And the same thing with drinking. It was always like, I kind of knew that if I drink too much, I'm gonna get a hangover, I'm gonna feel like crap, I don't really want to do it, whatever. And it was interesting to me because I always thought to myself, well, why don't you just stop? And there was plenty of times where I'd say I don't want to smoke anymore, so I'm gonna quit. And then I would say, yeah, that's right, I'm going to quit. And then 2 hours later, I'm smoking again. And I couldn't ever really realize why it was that I was doing that. Until I kind of had an epiphany. And I kind of said to myself, who's making me change my mind on something that I don't want to do? So, for instance, right? Like I said, I don't want to smoke. So, I instead of just taking cigarettes, throw them in the garbage and saying, that's it, I'm never going to smoke again, I wind up saying oh, I don't want to smoke. I really, really don't want to smoke. And I give myself all these reasons on why I don't want to smoke. And then a couple hours later, I'm standing outside and I'm smoking a cigarette. So where was the change in that I was adamant about something I wanted to do, and it turned into something I didn't have control over? Because there's no outside influence. There wasn't a buddy or anything saying, gun to your head, you're going to smoke this cigarette, you're going to do. So where was I losing this battle in making decisions? And it quickly came to me that it's a battle against me versus me. Me says, all right, I want to quit smoking. I don't like this. It's a nasty habit. I stink, the cancer thing and blah, 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 and all that other stuff. And then somehow me, the other side of me, who somewhere wanted to continue to smoke, wins the battle of me versus me. So that's it. It's just me losing to me, and then wind up doing this bad habit that I knew that I didn't want to do. So I said to myself, listen, you have to be stronger than you. You know what I mean? I have to be stronger than me, which is weird, concept of things. But the only one who's defeating me in this is me. That's it. It's really, really that simple. So I just came to the decision that I am going to make a decision against me to make sure that when it's me against me, that I win. Right? Makes perfect sense. So I quit smoking. And I just didn't let myself lose to me. And every time that I wanted to smoke, I said to myself, okay, so who's telling me that I want to smoke versus who's telling me that I shouldn't smoke? And I just made sure that through all these battles that I won, basically. And just like anything that you quit doing, it was rough. It was rough for, a couple of weeks, then rough for a couple of months. And then, after that, it was kind of like I smelled cigarette smoke in a different, way. It used to be like, oh, you know what, I want to smoke when I would smell cigarette smoke. And then it became like, oh, what is that? It got to the point where it was so foreign to me that it was weird that somebody was taking, dried up leaves. They were rolling it in paper. They were sticking this fiberglass, plastic thing on the end of it and wrapping that in paper. And then we're lighting it on fire and putting it to our mouth and breathing in the smoke. It got to the point where I was like, that is ludicrous. And of course, I didn't realize that until I was able to get away from it and realize wow, that's so weird. So I quit smoking, and man, I felt phenomenal. I felt great. Now, I couldn't jump any higher. I couldn't run any faster. I couldn't do any of that other stuff. But just my inner, wow, I can control my own fate. I can control what I do and what I don't do, felt phenomenal. So I started looking around what else could I quit that I don't like? And the next thing was alcohol. And here's the thing with alcohol. I drank my whole life and all that other stuff. So I quit smoking in 2000. 2000. This is 2018. So I quit 18 years ago, right? So it wasn't like I was the age I am now, and all of a sudden I became this strong, mentally, grown man and decided I was going to do this. I was still basically a kid. You know what I mean? 18 years ago, I was still basically a kid and decided like smoking was not going to be good. Well, drinking was kind of like a little bit of a different story. It was the same story in the way that I didn't like alcohol. I didn't like the burn of liquor. I didn't like the taste of it. Like liquor tasted to me like it was like it tastes like dirty socks or something. It tastes like sweat, or it tastes like just nasty. And then it burned and all that other stuff. And I was one of those people. I don't know how my friends did it, because like my friends, they could do shots. The guys could drink directly out of a bottle, like, and they were just normal people. Me, someone would be like, "Hey, you want a shot of tequila?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" To get a shot of tequila. And then someone's like, "Hey, we got this new stuff. You want to try it?" Yeah, yeah, sure, whatever. And then like within 2 hours, I'm like up on the roof naked, like dancing in the streets and stuff. I'm like, "Oh my God, what the hell happened?" So I wasn't a very good handler of liquor. So I knew early on that like, listen, oh, it's gonna be one of those nights. Guys show up with a bottle. Oh, we're gonna go party. I was like, that's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a bad, bad night. But I didn't like the taste of beer. Beer was weird. It was like bubbly, and it never really had like a taste to it. It didn't it had a taste to it, obviously, but it was never like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have a steak, a baked potato, and I'm gonna have a Michelob Light. You know what I mean? It was never like, it was like, I'm gonna have a steak, I'm gonna have a baked potato, and there's a million other drinks that go so much better than beer. You know. And for me, the first like 3 beers, it was like I was trying to get them down. You know what I mean? Until I started feeling like a little bit of a buzz, and then it was like, oh yeah, okay, this is cool. I could I could drink plenty of these. But it was the same thing. It was, I would wake up with a hangover and be like, God, why do I do that? Like that's so stupid. Or I'd be hungover or whatever, and I would have to say to myself, how many times have you said that you want to stop doing this? And I'm like, you did it with smoking. Why can't you do it with drinking? So I was like, you know what? Um, I think I'm going to quit. So when I started asking people, I started saying, listen, if you can quit drinking today, would you quit drinking? And almost everyone across the board is like, yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it costs so much money. I hate doing it. I'm always hungover. Like, man, it's just a pain in my ass. Yeah, I wish I could not do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put the same concept into quitting drinking as I did quitting smoking. And I knew once again it was like me against me. Well, back to the alcohol thing again. So beer and liquor was horrible. People would say, "Oh, why don't you try mixed drinks? You really like mixed drinks." I always thought mixed drinks was like kind of cheating, because it's like liquor is liquor. You deserve that burn. You're gonna feel it. Beer, you got to drink 20 of them or whatever, and then you're gonna get drunk, whatever. But mixed drinks, it was like you shouldn't be able to like have something that tastes like iced tea and then 2 hours later wind up on the roof. You know what I mean? Like it's just not a thing. You shouldn't be able to sit on the beach and drink pina coladas and margaritas, and the next thing you're throwing up in the bushes. Like you have to kind of like find your way in all of that stuff. And mixed drinks is cheating. Either you're going to get really drunk or you're not. You know what I mean? But there can't be any like in between of any of that stuff. So I would say that. So I would say to people, if your drink didn't have alcohol in it, would you still drink it? And most people wouldn't. They just say, no, I wouldn't drink that at all, or whatever. And that got me to thinking. Oop. Anyway, sorry. There it is. Anyway, so that got me to thinking that, well, I could quit that also. So it was the same thing. It was the battle against me versus me, and I just said, you know what? I don't want to do this. The person that's making me do it is me. So I'm just not going to do it. And at first it was a little bit awkward because, I'd go out with friends and they would be like, oh, you got to try this, you got to try that. And I just never did. I just, worked harder and harder and harder and not doing it. And like I said, the battle was against me. The battle was me telling me that I wasn't going to lose to me because I was stronger than I was. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And when I say that out loud, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. But when I say it in my own head, it makes perfect sense, right? So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking for like 30 days. Like 30 days, and then we'll see what happens after that. So 30 days came and went, and I didn't jump any higher. I didn't run any faster. I didn't feel any better. I just wasn't drinking. I wasn't spending the money on it. I wasn't going out. Well, I was going out. I was going out with friends, and they would like harass me and all that other stuff. And then I came to realize that I could go out and I can go to the bartender and I can have the bartender give me a drink of iced tea and a mixed drink, and I can put one of them little straws in that, and I could walk around with that all day, and no one would ever ask me, no one would harass me anymore about drinking. Like, oh, why don't you have a beer? Why don't you have a... I go, no, I got a drink right here. I'm good. And I'd drink it just like I would drink a normal drink, and then go get another one. So the bartender was kind of like in on the joke, but so I did that for a while. So after that, I was like, I'll go a month, and then I'm like, I didn't really feel like that was a long enough time. So I'm like, I'll go 6 months, and I'll see if I can go 6 months. So I went 6 months, and same thing. It was like, it wasn't too bad, but I knew I was still going to drink. I was like, it's only been, 6 months. I'm going to still do it. But then I was like, I wonder if I can get through a year, because the time that I quit, it was like I got through some holidays, but it was like coming right up to like St. Patrick's Day and then the summer and then like all of that stuff. So I'm like, this is going to be the true like test. So I went through St. Patrick's Day, I went through the summer, I went through the whole thing. And then once I hit like a year mark, I was like, I don't really feel any different. I could still go out with my friends. I could still have a great time. I could still, party and do all that other stuff. And I could use the excuse of doing whatever I want, because when you're around a bunch of drunk people, the people there think that you're drunk too. So you want to do that, go climb on a roof, naked and all that other stuff, you could, because they're not going to question you. Except the next day they're going to be like, oh, did you see him up on a roof? Oh my God, he was naked. Until the other guy says, yeah, he doesn't drink. He's sober. He's just out of his mind and climbing roofs and getting naked and stuff. So now I had under my belt that I quit smoking. And then I had under my belt that I quit drinking. So I was like, you know what? What else can I quit? So then I kind of got my addiction to alcohol, my addiction to alcohol and cigarettes, and kind of changed it like to an addiction of bettering myself. You know what I mean? Like I was obsessed with it. So I was like, what else do I do that I don't like that I should stop doing? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to not eat fast food, because, you hear all this stuff. It's made with all these crazy chemicals, and it's this and it's that and it's all this other stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see if I could do that. So I did. And that wasn't hard. And still to this day, I don't drink. So I quit smoking in 2000. I quit drinking in like 2005. I quit eating fast food in like, I don't know, 2008 or something. I quit. Then it was like soda. I would drink soda and it was like, what is in this stuff? And then I would look and it was like just bubbly water and syrup and like all this garbage. And you heard all these stories like, oh, if you take a steak and you put it in Coca-Cola, like the steak will dissolve. Or if you take Mountain Dew and you put a penny in it, like the world will end. Or, whatever it is. It was like always these weird things. So, I would say like, first of all, why would they let people drink that if it does, like, you can clean your battery terminals on your car with Coca-Cola? Like, that just doesn't sound right. There's something wrong there. And then, as I was going into the store one time, I was kind of on the fence on what I wanted to drink. So I'm like, let me see what I want to drink. And I started, like, looking at the different flavors of stuff. And it wasn't like the normal flavors. It wasn't like blueberry, cherry, orange, grape, strawberry. It was like Blue Mountain Crush. And it was like, Mountain Top Breeze and like all this stuff where you're like, what the hell flavor is that? You know what I mean? Like, is that, I don't know what that is. It's just, it's fluorescent green and it's, colors that you've never even seen before. They're not even on a rainbow. And I was thinking that's all like marketing and all that other stuff. That can't be healthy for you to drink. Like it can't be. So I said, you know what? I'm not drinking soda anymore. I'm going to cut that out of my life. I'm going to cut that completely. I don't know, drink iced tea or drink water or drink something else other than that. And, it took me a little while to do that too, but then I did it, So now I'm like marking up all these things that, made me feel good when I would have conversations with people where I'd say, oh yeah, I don't drink. No, I don't smoke. No, I don't eat fast food. No, I don't. It started becoming a little bit weird as the list grew and got, oh, I don't drink soda. It got longer and longer and longer. The one thing that I continued to do for many years, I mean, probably since high school, was drink coffee. I drank coffee all the time. Like that was the thing, you drink coffee before coffee was like a popular thing. You go to 7-Eleven or one of these other places and get a cup of coffee and, start your day off with it. And, a lot of people would drink it in the afternoon or whatever. I kind of think that's even before like iced coffee. I don't remember people, before like 10 years ago drinking iced coffee. So I drink coffee like crazily. And then Starbucks showed up. I don't even remember when it showed up, but then that was a whole nother thing. It was like rocket fuel. I went from drinking like 7-Eleven coffee to like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and then Starbucks showed up with their rocket fuel, and I was hooked. That was it. I mean, like I can drink gallons and gallons of Starbucks coffee, and you'd like be wired, like shaking and stuff, and which is good. And I didn't drink the caramel macchiato, whatever, 15 pumps and skim milk, and like there was no order. It was just I just drank coffee with sugar and half and half, and that was it. And I really enjoyed it. And then I went on to like, hey, you know what I should get rid of? Sugar. I know it's like going down this weird rabbit hole thing, but then it was sugar, and I was on like a crazy like. Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody said to me that sugar is like, or white processed sugar is like the number one feeder or fuel or whatever of cancer cells. So, like the first thing they tell people that have cancer, like stop with any sugar. So I thought, well, why don't you do that before you actually, get diagnosed with something? Why don't you just stop doing it? So I'm like, how would I like coffee without sugar in it? Like that would be just horrible, right? So I tried I never wanted to try like that Splenda and all that other stuff because I always felt like that was like chemicals. It wasn't like any kind of real sweetener at all. So, but I don't even know if that's true. I could have just made that up. Maybe Splenda and sucrose or whatever that other. Maybe it's the most natural stuff you can use. I don't have any idea. I'm just saying that when I walk up to the counter and there's a bright yellow packet or like a bright pink packet, I just don't want any part of that. For some reason that sugar that's in the raw that looks like it's a cardboard colored packet, like a basic brown, like that one. I don't know. It looks natural. I don't know. And that could be the worst thing for you. I don't know. So I that's what I did. I tried that. Ooh, I took my hair. There you go. So I tried that brown sugar stuff, and it was horrible. So I'm like, I don't want to use that. But then I like tried honey, and that was even worse. But then I slowly started getting used to just drinking black coffee with creamer in it, and I did that for a bunch of years. So I was cutting down on sugar. I wasn't doing a lot of stuff. I was using honey for a lot of stuff in my house and everything. But then, like just recently, I'm like, well, what's the point of me drinking all this goddamn coffee in the morning? Or just in general, I was drinking coffee in the morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. So that was the last like thing in my life that I needed to cut out was coffee. So I cut out coffee. So here's my overall theme on addiction. I really believe that everybody is addicted to something. You have to be addicted to something. And go down the list of things that are in your life to determine what your addiction is. Like some people are addicted to alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, whatever, all the negative things that you could be addicted to. Some people are addicted to things that are kind of like borderline, like they're not good, they're not bad, they just are what they are. Like fixing their cars, and souping it up and always working. He's always out there working on his car. Or like, teenagers, not even teenagers, adults are doing it too, like with video games, just completely addicted to video games. And like they work, they come home, they get on a video game, they go to bed, they wake up, if they can squeeze in a little bit of video game before work, and then they go to work and, all that. Those aren't really bad things or whatever. But then you have other people that are like addicted to, well, and like things like church and stuff like that. That's a good addiction and whatever. It keeps you positive, keeps you ahead of the game and everything. And then you have people that are addicted to stuff like going to the gym. You see a lot of people that were alcoholics or drug addicts or whatever. They replaced their negative addictions with positive addictions by, like, I used to be an alcoholic, but my friend took me to the gym one time, and I kind of felt like the sweating and the same rush and all that other stuff. I really enjoyed it, and now like I'm doing CrossFit, or I'm running marathons, or I'm doing triathlons, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and they kind of replace that one addiction with another one. But I don't believe that people are just not addicted to anything. You take guys like what's his name, Bill Gates, right, and the guy from the Amazon CEO, Bezos. You take guys like that and you say to yourself, well, first off, if you wanted to, like, what level of success do you determine as successful in life, right? So most people would say, if I had $1 million, like, forget it, I would quit work. Or if I won $10 million, I would never work another day in my life. 100 million, 300 million, 500 million. How about $1 trillion? Would that be enough? I mean, a billion. What about 10 billion? 100 billion? How about a trillion? Like, how much money is enough for you to say, well, yeah, I won. That's it. Game over. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sit on a yacht. I'm going to go travel the country or the world every single day and eat different meals in different places. And I have more money than I can spend in my lifetime. My kids, my grandkids, and my great grandkids. Like, that's it. I'm done. But they don't. Why? Because their addiction is work. Their addiction is making money. Their addiction is creating something or finishing something that they believe that they could create and seeing it to an end. Like, they're addicted to that. How many people listening right now had parents that, like, your dad was just always at work. He was supposed to do, 40 hours or 60 hours a week, but he was doing 100 hours, right? Well, that's an addiction, and a lot of people have that addiction, which is, it's okay because you have to be addicted to something. But what I'm saying is that if you know that you're addicted to something and you have the ability to be addicted to something, and that you want to have the you versus you and you win mentality, then really all you have to do is simple. Just be stronger than yourself and determine what battles you're going to fight and which ones you're going to win, and take your addictions and replace them with something positive. Just take your negative addiction and just turn it into a positive addiction. I know it sounds really simple to say, but it really is, because it's not like, you say, well, I never want to drink again, but that guy across the street, he comes over every day and holds a gun to my head and knocks me unconscious. And when I wake up, he's poured 2 gallons of alcohol down my throat, and there's really nothing that I can do about it. There's just nothing I can do. This battle is you saying, like, hey, look, I don't want to do this, and either you're not going to do it or you are going to do it. And if you wind up doing that negative addiction, it's because you lost a battle with yourself. That's it. Lost a battle with yourself. So how is that even possible? Like, in the battle of you versus you need to be stronger than yourself. No outside influence, no nothing. It's just you battling yourself. In a battle versus me, I win every time. I beat me against me, myself. Wait, what? Yeah, I win always. Why? Because I am stronger than myself. You are stronger than you. There's no question about it. So don't lose to you. Take control of the decisions, cut out the negative in your life, and take it as a challenge, take it as an addiction, take it as a drive or a motivation that you need to beat you in the battle of you versus you and be stronger than yourself. So what is that? Hashtag be stronger than yourself. Hashtag you versus you. Hashtag you win. Hashtag you versus you against you. Make sure you win every single